Hello YouTube, welcome to my Balatro Joker tier list. Balatro is a game, it only has a demo out right now. It is so good though. It's super new. At the time I'm recording this, it's like 1 week old. I have played it a ton. I've played it an embarrassingly high amount, to be honest, like 50 hours in the first week. I was getting like 10 hours a day for like the first 3 or 4 days, which is like kind of insane. But yeah, I wanted to make a tier list. I wanted to, one, experiment with this VTuber that's on screen, and also I just wanted to talk about the game. So alright, let me start with ranking. As you can see, I started out with all of the Jokers that are not in the demo version, not in demo. So I'm not ranking those ones really. So first up is the 8-Ball. So I think 8-Ball is really fun. This isn't really a fun tier list though. So what it does, if you play 2 8s on the same turn, you get a tarot card. So tarot cards can be really good. Getting a bunch of them, especially once you have 20 coins, so that the Hermit will start giving you 20 coins each time you use it. It's really good. I think that tarot cards are a lot better than the planets, but I also just end up taking them a lot more, so I might be biased, because they're more fun. They have more novel interactions than the planets, which just give you like extra points. I think 8-Ball is really good. If you get it early, you can start building your run around it, using Strength to get more 8s, using the Hanged Man to get rid of cards that aren't 8. I'd put it in... I'd put it in B. I think it's close though. It's a really good card. Alright, next up, Abstract Joker. This one is solid. The default Joker hand size is 5, and this gives you +2 mult for every Joker in your hand. So, this gives you +10 basically most of the time. It'll give you less if you're earlier on in the run, and it'll give you less on the last blind, where you need to sell one of your Jokers. It's decent. I'd put it in I'll put it in C, maybe I'll bring it up later. Okay, next up is the Flag Joker. This one gives you chips for every discard you have remaining. I don't think that this is really that good. There's not as many cards that give chips, I don't think, than Molt, but I don't think that cards that give chips are really that important. I think that the Molt is much more necessary, so I think I'd put it in like the same tier as Abstract Joker. It synergizes really well with a couple other cards, but yeah, it's not that necessary. I would usually take any other Joker that gives me Molt. Alright, next up is the Blueprint. This one is an easy S. It copies the Joker to its right. There are some cards it can't copy, but it can copy more than you might expect. So like it can copy the 8-Ball, which is really great. What's so good about the Blueprint is that you can dynamically change what it's copying. So yeah, if you play 2 8s, copy the 8-Ball. If you play a 3 of a kind and you have the 3 of a kind Joker, copy that one. It's really good. It's basically just a second copy of the best Joker that you own that turn, which is really good, really good. S tier. Next up, there's the Business card. This one's okay. Every time you play a face card, you have a 50% chance to get 2 gold. Getting gold is really important, especially early, so that you can start getting interest. I would put it definitely above the Flag Joker. I think I'd put it above this one too. I like getting it early a lot, and then it's easy to sell later, because it doesn't help you get any more score, so, you know, it's easy fodder later. The Abstract Joker, I don't think it's very strong in any specific part of the game, maybe a little bit better in the middle, but yeah, I would definitely rather have the Business card. Okay, next up is the Ceremonial Dagger. This one's pretty fun. It'll destroy the card to its right at the start of each blind, and then give you extra Molt on this card every hand. So you need to get it early to start building up Molt on it. It synergizes with an egg, maybe, if you get it later, because the egg builds up cell value, because it gets Molt relative to the cell value of the card it destroys. It's okay. It kind of takes too long to get going. There's other cards that you can get that basically do the same thing but without any downside or any investment, because you do have to pay money to get more mult on this, I think I would put it above the Abstract Joker. Okay, next up, this is the Straight Joker? I think so. So this one, you need to get a straight. I think it gives you plus 15 mult. When you get a straight, not very good. Yeah, I think this is going to be the first D tier one. It's hyper specific. The other ones are a little bit better because like the 3 of a kind Joker, you can play a full house or a 3 of a kind or a flush or, you know, any other hand that can contain 3 of the same card. That's a lot more flexible. This one, not flexible at all. The plus 15 mult is nice, but there's other things that can give you more mult with less restrictions. So not very good, D tier. All right, next up is, I forget the name of this one. It's like Patience or something like that. This one gives you 2 gold for every discard left after you finish a combat, but you have to have used 0 discards that combat. So this is, it's really good if it's good, and it does nothing if it's not good. This is really only useful if you already have a great run going, so that you don't need to rely on your discards at all. That being said, it is really good when it's good, and you know you don't need to buy it if your run isn't great. I would put it in... I think I'd put it in C tier, above the flag. It can be great, like if you get an early Gross Michael, and then you have this for like the first 2 blinds, that's tons of money. It is also worth knowing that even though you get more money for the discards you have, you're probably going to end up playing more hands, and that means you're getting less money from extra hands remaining. So it's not really quite as effective as you might think, but it still gives you a lot of money if you end up making it work. Okay, next up is the Flush Joker. This is much better than the Straight Joker. It gives you plus 10 mult if you get a flush, so a little bit less mult, but it's much easier to make work because making flush decks super easy, making straight decks not easy. I would put this one maybe at the bottom of C actually, because it's just not that good. 10 mult is nice, but you need to get a flush. Gross Michael, for example, gives you a lot of mult. It gives you the same amount of mult with no downside other than the card might be destroyed after a combat. So I think I'm going to leave this one in C right here. This one, I forget the name, but this one triggers your final hand twice. Not good, I don't think. You can get like a 4 of a kind, waste your other hands, get 2 4 of a kinds. That'd be nice. I never end up taking it because I'd rather get the bonus money for not having to go down to your last hand. And it doesn't actually make the other hands before it, worth more. It actually makes them worth less because you have to hold on to good cards for your last hand. So yeah, I think I'll put this one at the top of D. It's also an uncommon. All right, now we have Even Steven. This is honestly pretty good card. Early, it's a great card. Late, still a pretty good card. You don't really need to build around it at all, and it affects 5 cards out of 13 in a suit. So it affects over a third of all your cards in the base deck. And if you start with something like the Faceless deck, it's even better. It ends up affecting half your cards. So it's pretty great all around. Can give you up to 20 mult if you play all even cards. That's not going to happen most of the time, but when it does, it's really great. Okay, now this is the Fibonacci. Fibonacci, kind of the same thing as Even Steven, although it's an uncommon. Fibonacci, it affects Ace, 2, 3, 5, 8, which are numbers in the Fibonacci sequence if you didn't know. I think that this is better than Even Steven because it affects aces. So aces are primarily better than any other kind of card, except maybe a face card, because they have synergy with other cards, specifically like the Academic Joker. So that's pretty much the only difference. The chips you're gonna get from the cards might be a little bit less, since the Even Steven affects 10, and the Fibonacci affects 2, 3, and 5, which are all kind of low, but I think it's worth it to get it to affect aces. Okay, 4 Fingers. 4 Fingers, pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and put it right here. The thing that's really good about it is it makes it easy to get straight flushes. If you're not getting straight flushes with it, it's probably not going to be very good. You're going to end up knocking as many chips per hand if you play your hands with only 4 cards for a flush or a straight. And then it's kind of just taking up space and not giving you more points, you know? So yeah, I'm going to put it in A, but it is kind of, you need to work around it to try and make straight flushes easier to get, which kind of just means, you know, get more of a single suit and try and get rid of all your 2s or something to make this easier to get straight flushes. Okay, next up, the Golden Joker. Golden Joker is pretty good. It's a utility card. It doesn't give you as much money as the other cards could, like the business card, but it is consistent and you don't need to do anything to get the money out of it. I'm gonna put it in B. It could maybe be a C, but yeah, pretty good card, especially early. Okay, Gross Michael. Gross Michael is a great card. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of A, maybe even S. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in S. It's really good, plus 10 molt, but you will have a 1 in 10 chance for it to be destroyed after each combat. What's really good about it is that it's after the combat. So then if you do end up losing it, you can buy a replacement immediately. If it was at the start of combat, it would be much worse, because then you'd be down a Joker for no upside. But yeah, plus 10 molt with no other effects in battle, that's great. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in A. Okay, Half Joker. This one I honestly don't think is too good. It's really good early, plus 15 molt if you only play 3 cards. So it makes the early game a breeze. The problem is that, well, for one, in the demo you always get the same blinds, or the same boss blinds, I should say. So that makes it really unfortunate, because you're gonna run into the boss blind that requires you to play 5 cards, which I feel like is just to counter this specific Joker. I don't think there's any other cards that require you to play less than 5 cards other than this one, so yeah, kind of a bummer for this card. I'm gonna go ahead and put it, I'll leave it in C, because it's really good, can carry you early, or it can maybe get you out of a tight spot if you only have 3 decent cards in your hand. It gives you, yeah, the big problem with it, obviously, you need to play only 3 cards, so you can't get the extra discard by playing a 3 of a kind and 2 junk. You can't get the extra points from playing a full house or something like that. Gonna stay in C. Okay, the Joker Stencil. This is extremely good. If you're missing 1 Joker, get double molt. And it doesn't add molt, it doubles your current molt, so double whatever your score would have been without this card. It does have the downside that you need to have 1 empty slot, but in the case of the demo, super strong, super strong. That's because obviously you have to sell one of your Jokers at the last boss blind. It's kind of hard to choose between Blueprint or this. I'm gonna go ahead and put Blueprint just under it. Blueprint, better earlier, I would say. But yeah, definitely late. If you don't have something that already doubles molt, then the Joker Stencil is going to be better than Blueprint. And the last boss is pretty hard, so I'm going to favor making that easier rather than the early game. Okay, the plain Joker. This card is horrible. This card sucks. It's plus 3 molt. It's okay if you get it in ante 1 or ante 2. After that, it's not really worth anything. That's really the only time I'm ever gonna buy it, unless it has some sort of enchantment. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it in F. It's hard to think of a Joker that's gonna be worse. Actually, maybe go ahead and switch it with the straight Joker. No. Move them both into F. Neither of them are good. Okay, I don't remember the name of this one, but this one, it lets you hold 2 extra cards in your hand. That is pretty good, to be honest. It's really good for setting up straights, since, you know, if you have, like, ace 2, 3, 4, that's taking up half your hand normally. It's hard to look for the 5. If you have this, you can get the full 5 cards to discard, search for another one. Or you can just hold on to, you know, an ace, and it'll take up that extra space, and it makes it easier to search for other cards to go with it, like for a full house or whatever. There, okay, yeah. I think it's gonna go in C. Okay, next up is the Punch card. Punch card, every 6 hands, you get times 4 molt on your next hand. Not good. You can try and make it work. to get like play extra hands than you need to maybe get the ×4 on the boss blind. But it's not guaranteed that that's gonna work out, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it pretty low. I think it's pretty bad, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in F. Okay, next up is the 4 of a kind Joker. I think that this one gives you 20 molt for a 4 of a kind. Not good, not good. You don't really need the extra molt if you already have a 4 of a kind, because that hand is so good. It could make a busted run even better. But yeah, no, pretty bad, I think. And maybe, you know, I'm looking at these two, the punch card and the 4 of a kind, and I'm like, these ones are much worse than those other ones. So let me move these up to D. Okay, the Stone Joker. I have not messed around with this one too much, to be honest. It gives you a stone card at the start of each combat. Stone cards being worth 50 chips with no suit or rank attached to them, so they kill synergies, but they give you chips. Not too good, I don't think. It's an uncommon. I don't think it's really good enough to warrant that. It works with 2 pair, maybe for trying to, if you have a bunch of 2 pair upgrades. I don't think this one's very good though. I'm gonna go ahead and put it, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in D. And I think I'm gonna move the Flush Joker down in there too. Even things out a little bit. Okay, next up is the Misprint Joker. This one, I believe it gives you anywhere between 0 and 20 molt, randomly. It obviously can be really good if you get the +20 or something up there. It can also be useless if you get the 0 or +1. It's a little hard to put this one. It's nice, it's cheap, but it is very inconsistent. Because of that, I think I'm gonna have to put it down here. Yeah, I would always rather have these cards to the left of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in C. Okay, this is the Mystic Joker or something like that. This one's okay. It gives you +15 molt if you have no discards left. It can work out really well, especially early. But the problem is, you know, you might be wasting some discards to set up a really great hand to get the +15 molt, and then your next hand you're dealt sucks. And then you're all out of discards, you know, of course, so you can't get rid of them. So it might end up kind of screwing you if you go for it. It's nice to have if there's not any opportunity cost involved, but I just don't think it's very good, to be honest. I think I'd rather have all these cards to the left. Okay, Odd Todd. So this is like Even Steven, so you might think they go together. Even Steven, +4 molt for each even. Odd Todd is +20 chips for each odd, including aces. So, like I said, chips are actually not as good as molt, I don't think, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this one a lot lower, actually. I'm gonna put that there. Okay, the Raised Fist Joker. So this one, pretty great, to be honest. It adds double the value of your lowest rank card to your molt. So if your lowest card is a 5, it gives you +10 molt. That is really easy to work around, to be honest. Even if you have like a 2 in your hand, if you just play the 2, whether it be junk or part of your hand, that'll get rid of it, and then you'll get the next highest rank to be adding to your molt. So it's pretty good. It's an uncommon. I'm gonna go ahead and put it here at the top of A. Okay, the Ride the Bus. Ride the Bus, super good. I think maybe at the bottom of S. So Ride the Bus, every time you play a hand that doesn't have any face cards that give you chips. So you can play them as part of your junk. If you play a 2 pair and that's your 5th card, it'll still give you the Ride the Bus bonus. And that builds up across battles. So if you play five hands with no face cards, beat that round, go to the next one. Your next hand, if there's no face cards, gives you +6 molt, and it just keeps building and building. So if you get it early, it's insane if you build your deck around it. If you get it in the faceless deck, it is absolutely busted. It's insane. It's like by far the best card in the game in that case, especially if you get it early. But yeah, in a normal deck, it can be tough to work around. The big thing that I think is holding it back from being the best card in the game, which I'm glad is there, by the way, so it's not just incredibly overpowered, is that when if your hand is junk and you don't have any discards left, you can't discard the face cards unless you have an ace. Because if you want to just play 5 face cards and get them out of your hand, you're going to end up playing a high card, and the high card is going to be a face card, of course, because those are a high rank. So in that case, it can end up ruining your streak, and then that might be really bad. It might cause you to lose the round. So that's at the bottom of S, but it's still incredible, especially if you build your deck around it early. I forget what this one's called, the Scary Face Joker, or whatever. Every time you play a face card, you get 20 chips. It's pretty good. It's pretty okay. It's alright. Yeah, it's kind of good. It's might be okay. It's kind of bad. I kind of hate it. No, I think it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put it. It does give you enough chips that I think it could be better than a molt card here. All right, I think that's a good spot. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. It works really well in face card decks, obviously. If you duplicate face cards or take out your numbered cards. And it is nice. It synergizes with other stuff too, because there's other stuff that works with face cards, like the business card. But yeah, I think it's a C tier. I'll end up skipping it pretty often for other cards, especially ones that give a lot of molt. Okay, the Academic Joker. This one, very good if you can build around it early. This is one of the rare cards that is maybe the only card, actually, that gives molt and chips. Every time you play an ace, you get 20 chips and 4 molt. So it is the Scary Face Joker and Even Steven, or I guess you could think Odd Todd and Even Steven together, but just for aces. Very, very good if you can build around it early. I think low A tier is a good spot for that one. Okay, this is another rare Joker. The Smeared Joker, right. This is the Smeared Joker. So it makes it easier to get flushes, because cards are red or black, rather than being ace, spades, diamonds, clubs. So it's twice as easy to get flushes, but the thing is, not really. Because in a lot of runs, especially ones that, you know, are doing well, you're already gonna have converted some of a suit into a different one. So you might have turned a bunch of your hearts into clubs. This will still make it easier to get a black flush, but it's not as necessary, and it's expensive. It takes up a spot. I don't think it's that great, to be honest. Especially, I think it gets worse the later on you go, because you're going to get more chances to take suits you don't want out of your deck. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Okay, this is like a Cosmic Joker or something. I don't remember what this one's called. Every time you play a hand, the next time you play it with this Joker will give you 1 molt for every time that hand has been played. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. If you've read the text, it probably explains it better than I could. But yeah, this one's okay. Personally, I end up playing the same few hands a lot. Sometimes it might lean a lot more towards flush if I have a flush run going. It might have a lot of 2 pairs if my run is not going very good. It might have a lot of straights if I have another Joker that synergizes with straights. At the end of a run, it'll usually end up giving me at least plus 10 molt in 2, maybe 3 hands. Probably not any more than 3. I'm not sure if that'd really be possible. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not quite as good, I think, as the A tier ones, because, you know, you might be in a situation where you have a straight, but you haven't played many straights that run. So it's not going to be very good for some other hands that might be big points otherwise. So yeah, B tier for that one. I think this is called the Cosmic Joker. This one, it makes the planetarium cards free. That might sound really good, but it actually only makes the planetarium cards that are not in a booster pack free. So if you see a booster pack in the shop, it won't give you the booster pack for free. It's just the cards by themselves when they're in the shop. Not very good, I don't think, honestly. They don't appear in the shop very often. I I'm gonna go ahead and put, and you're not gonna make that much money off of this, to be honest, either, because you're gonna end up paying like, I think it's an uncommon, so you're gonna pay like 8 gold or something for it. That's already the price of two planetarium cards, so you need to get at least 3 for it to be worth it. If you have a ton of money and you can re-roll a bunch, maybe it would be worth it. I think it's pretty bad, to be honest. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in F. Okay, the Tarot Joker. This one, I wish it was better. It's not that good. It gives you one tarot card every combat. Not great. It's like a 4. It's literally like a 4 gold value every round. But you know, it might give you a bad tarot card. It might give you a good one, but it might give you a bad one. I think that there's less worthy than the Golden Joker. I'm gonna go ahead and put it down here. It's good early, not so good later. A worse version of the Golden Joker, in my opinion. Okay, and the 3-of-a-kind Joker. This one is pretty good. It gives you a 15 mult. Yeah, 15 mult if you play a 3-of-a-kind. That's pretty nice if you have a lot of 1 card in your deck. So, you know, if you have a bunch of aces, you can play full houses and 3-of-a-kinds flushes with this. That's nice. It is a bit hard to make work. It's not going to end up giving you extra mult a lot of the time. Yeah, I think that that's a good spot for it. And I'm noticing, it looks like some Jokers are not in this tier list. I think that this is an official tier list for the previous demo. So it looks like there's some new Jokers that were added since then. Alright, so a few more Jokers than I thought were exclusive to the new demo that came out this month. So I'll just go ahead and list those off, add those on screen. There's the Ice Cream. It gives you plus 100 chips per hand, but the number of chips it gives permanently goes down every time you play a hand by 5. This card is not very good, I don't think. If you bought it in the very last shop, that'd be pretty good. Otherwise, not great. I would put that one the top of F. Okay, then there's the Runner Joker, so it's kind of the opposite of the Ice Cream. It gives you, I believe it gives you 20 chips every hand you play, but every time you play a straight, that number permanently goes up by 10. So it could give you a huge number of chips. If the runs were longer, I think it'd be a lot better. If you get it early, it's pretty good. I think it's not too great though, because straights are like a really hard hand. One of the harder hands to pull off. But you know, if you do get a bunch of them early, and then you can modify your deck some more, making straights a little bit harder to pull off, but you'll get better hands. You'll still continue reaping the rewards of having played so many straights early. I'd put that one in C. Okay, then there's the Cosmic Joker. I got confused for a second when I saw the Planetarium Joker and thought it was that one for a moment. The Cosmic Joker gives you a plus 0.1 mult every time you play a planet card. Pretty expensive to make that one, you know, work. You'd need to play 10 planet cards, which is like a 40 gold cost to get it up to ×2. Not great, not nearly as good as the other Jokers in S, I don't think. It could theoretically get really good, but it's probably not going to get you there, especially because it's expensive, so you might not be able to buy as many planet cards. And you know, if you have money, you're probably later in the run. If you're later in the run, you're not going to be able to buy as many because you're not going to... it's not retroactive, is important to mention. So if you played 10 planet cards in the run, then you buy it, it starts out at ×1 still. It doesn't add retroactively to get you to ×2. So, yeah, for those reasons, it's not great. It's a little bit more expensive than I think it should be. I think I'd put it in C. Okay, then there's the Hiker. Hiker's another uncommon Joker. It gives you... It permanently upgrades every card that you play that gives you chips. So if you play a 2-pair, play 2 2s and 2 4s, it becomes as if those 2 2s were 3s and those 2 4s were 5s. And it keeps going. You can upgrade aces so that they give 11 chips. And you can upgrade the same card multiple times. but it does only add one at a time, which I think is not really enough to warrant keeping it. I'd much rather have a different card that lets me get other resources like money, and then I can spend that money to get better buffs like tarot cards to upgrade the cards for, you know, plus 20 chips. Not very good. It's a fun card, but yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired, I think. And especially, you know, it doesn't actually give you any bonus in the battle you have it, really. You can sell it later after you've already upgraded some cards, which is what you're supposed to do with it, I guess. It's just that the upgrades it gives are really slow going. I'd put that one in D, to be honest. The hiker is just not very good. Superposition is next. So this one, it's an interesting one. I really like it. I don't think it's very good though. If you play a straight that involves an ace, you get a planet or tarot card. Only one. It's random. Not very good. Like I've said, straights are pretty hard to play, and especially a straight with an ace, you know, pretty hard. I think that's probably the card that is hardest to play a straight from, since, you know, if you have a ace, king, queen, jack, you need to hope for specifically a 10. If it were any other card, you could hope for a number higher or lower than your highest or lowest, but with ace, you need 5 specific cards. It works a lot better if you have 4 fingers. I would not recommend buying it if you don't have 4 fingers. Unfortunately, even though I think that card's really fun, I think it's an F tier again. Okay, Egg. Egg is funny. I was wondering if it's a Northern Lion reference, since he played this game. He played the previous demo, and he got the game too much attention. The developer asked him to stop playing it because he was putting too much attention on the unfinished demo, which I thought was funny. Egg, you buy it for 4 gold. It gains 3 gold of value every turn. Every round, I should say. Every combat. Yeah. It's okay. It's almost always going to be worth buying if you have more than 1 empty Joker slot. Because, you know, you only got to do 1 combat to break even, and then do 2 to get gains, although you might get less interest, so maybe 3, and then you'll start making a lot of money. It is worse than the Golden Joker, because it makes less money, and it gives you it gets you less money per round, and you don't get interest on the money that it's accruing. But specifically with Ceremonial Dagger and Temperance, it'll give you more mult for the dagger and more money for Temperance, because Temperance gives you money based on the sell value of the cards you have. So, you know, if you have a cracked egg, you could get up to 50 gold when you play Temperance. That's probably not going to happen, but it's worth mentioning. You will get more money from Temperance occasionally if you buy egg. I think it's good. I think it's almost always going to be worth buying. It's just it doesn't impact the run that much. I'd put it in C. Alright, Blackboard. Blackboard is another rare. It's extremely good. If you only have spades or club cards left over after playing your hand, you get ×2 mult. That's a really easy condition to meet, especially because you should just always build your decks to have less red cards. Since there's nothing that rewards you for having red cards, you might as well just turn all your red cards into black cards if you have equal opportunity to do either. So it's easy to build towards, because you're not really going to be sacrificing anything. And the reward is insane. Not much else to say about it. It's just really big reward for low cost. Low risk, I should say. It is a little bit expensive since it's a rare. Definitely an S tier. I would put it above Ride the Bus, I think. Okay, DNA. DNA is a really interesting card. You basically waste your first hand, but you get to duplicate 1 card. You don't get to choose what card super consistently. It has to be a card that you are able to play. So you can go through some discards to fish for the card you're looking for. It's pretty good, I think, especially if you know, save an enchantment, especially if you save a tarot card that enchants one of your cards, then enchant it on the first turn, then play that card to duplicate it. You get to duplicate the enchanted card. That's pretty good. It basically only serves to make good runs much better. It will not really save a run that is struggling, because you're going to be down one hand, maybe even a couple discards. You're wasting a joker slot for it. You spent a lot of money probably to buy it because it's a rare. I can't rank it too high because of that. It can lead to some crazy runs, but not too great, to be honest. I would put it in the bottom of C. Splash. Splash, I think, is really bad. It makes it so that even if cards you're playing them as junk, they still give you chips. Really bad. Not really. Like, just play better hands, forehead. F tier. It doesn't give you many chips. It does help you activate synergies, I guess. You know, if you have Even Steven and you play a 2 as junk, it'll still activate Even Steven. That's not really worth anything, I don't think. I would much rather have basically any other joker, so F tier for Splash. And last is To-Do List. So To-Do List is a very fun card, I think. It asks you to play a specific hand, so it might be a high card, a pair, 2-pair, flush, full house, whatever. And if you play what it's requesting, it'll give you 4 gold. It does not have a maximum number of payouts per combat, so you can do as many as you can play hands, although you're probably not going to get that many. But I have had times where I get like 12 gold in one combat from it, which is really great. The thing that is really bad about it is that it can call really difficult hands. It can call a straight flush. And I think only if you've played them before, it can ask you to play a flush house or a 5 of a kind. That kind of just kills it if that happens, and you don't have an easy way of making that happen again. You know, if you don't already have like 5 Queen of Diamonds in your deck, it might be pretty hard to play another 5 of a kind. For that reason, it's not amazing. If it could not call a flush house, straight flush, 5 of a kind, or 4 of a kind, I think it would be incredible. It would be either top of A or low S. But because it can call those hands that are extremely difficult to play, you might end up buying it when it asks you for 2 pair, and the next one is, you know, straight flush, and then you're like, guess I gotta sell this card. Even still, in the worst case that I just described, you still will end up breaking even, I think. You'll make 4 cents for playing the hand, and then you get 1 more for selling it, so you break even at least. But it can be incredible. I would put it in B, I think. It's not as consistent as the Golden Joker, but I would usually rather have it as long as the first payout, because you can see what the first thing it's asking for is in the shop. As long as that's not an extremely hard to play thing, like a 4 of a kind or straight flush, I would rather buy it than the Golden Joker, I think. So yeah, B tier for that one. And that is all of the Jokers in the demo. I am incredibly excited to play the full game. I've been obsessed with the demo. I played the original demo, and I could not stop thinking about the full game after that. About the next demo once we found out that there was going to be another demo before the full game. I was counting the days in September for the demo to come out. Yeah, so, you know, go check out Balatro on Steam. The demo's free. There's only a demo right now. The demo is incredible. Better than a lot of other full games. Check out my main channel. It's going to be linked in description. It's Kirbyster without the number. It's going to have a letter instead. I post video essays there, and please subscribe to that channel. I want to reach 1,000 subs really bad. So I would really appreciate it if you could go there, subscribe, maybe check out some of my videos. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching. Play Balatro. See you next time.